Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the African transition zone with Nigeria in focus here. So I'm going to be looking at the disparities we have between northern Nigeria and the southern part of Nigeria. But first of all, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Hilda Onoha. I'm a PhD student in the Geography Department of Kansas State University. And right now I'm working on my research that's looking at grasslands, the Great Plains. I'm from Nigeria, as you can tell, probably from my accent. So today I'm going to show some highlights of how we have this wide difference between the north of Nigeria and the south of Nigeria. So we look at Nigeria and its geographical location. I'm sure you've talked about Africa as a whole and how we have sub-Saharan Africa versus North Africa. And if you've discussed in details about regions, you know that regions does not have this sharp divide. There's always some transition between one region and the other region. So Nigeria here, as indicated in this circle, is in West Africa. It lies just in the transition zone between North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. So the name Nigeria was gotten from, its origin is from a very, very, very popular African river called the Niger River. So basically Nigeria means Niger area. It means the area around the Niger. Nigeria, it's a large country. It's one of the top 10 largest countries in the world. Currently, we have more than 200 million people. And Nigeria in size, I'll say slightly like 2 times the size of California. And Lagos is one of the most populated cities in the world and the most populated city in Africa. So I'm going to go here and just show you some differences we have. One of the reasons why Northern Africa is considered a different region than Sub-Saharan Africa is both based on physical geography and based on human geography. Looking at the physical geography side, climate is very, very different. We have more arid climate in the northern part of Africa versus Sub-Saharan Africa. So it's very, very visible here in Nigeria. In the northern part of Nigeria, we have more arid climate up here. Things are drier, there's less rainfall compared to the southern part of Nigeria. So you could see like this clear disparity in vegetation, in elevation, and temperature. It's very, very hot in the northern part of Nigeria compared to the southern part of Nigeria. So this is what it looks like in the northern part of Nigeria. It's mostly desert-like, and you see the very, 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 very vast difference in the south. A lot of vegetation. We have swamps, very, very, very high intensity rainfall in the south. Another example of disparity between the north and southern Nigeria is religion. We have this sharp divide of predominantly Islam practice in the north versus Christianity practice in the south. Nigeria is one of the countries that have this dual religion, 50-50 divide. We have about 50% of Nigerians are Christians and 50% of Nigerians are Muslims. So look at the economy too. We use one of the World Bank's indices for development. This one is called the Human Development Index. It uses a lot of indicators. It uses income, education, and a whole lot of indicators. But generally, we could see that disparity in HDI in the North versus the South. In the North, we have very, very, very low HDI compared to the South. This is not a clear transition here, but you could see generally there's lower HDI in the North versus the southern part of Nigeria. Looking at some of those indicators that's used to calculate the HDI, there was the income. Besides this, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, it's just an area that designated to act as the administrative headquarters of the country. So beyond that, you could see that there is lower income, average lower income per person in the northern part of Nigeria versus the south. If you also look at health, we use child malnutrition and mortality rates in the country. Generally, we have these mortality rates is lower in the north, and there's more child malnutrition in the north compared to the south. And for education, we use a percentage of people who attend primary and secondary school. Primary school is equivalent to elementary school in the US, and secondary school is equivalent to middle and high school in the US. So if you look at this percentage, we have higher number of people who graduate from primary and secondary school in the South compared to the North. So after showing you these disparities, I'm just gonna go a little bit and show and explain why we have this disparity in Nigeria between the North and the South. So a brief history here. Nigeria, we know, is in Africa, and Africa is very, very popular for colonization. So before colonization of Africa, we had kingdoms and states and tribal societies. We didn't have basically any organized religion. So it's mainly traditional religions where people had different gods they believed in and had the different rites of passage to these gods. So the earliest trace of civilization in Africa goes back to the 500 BC. This is based on artifacts that trace the civilization. So they had kingdoms as part of the civilizations. And in the 16th century, we had some sort of organized trade, mainly trade by barter. There was no currency at the time. And then in the 19th century, we saw slavery. And with that, we had colonization of Africa. And after a long history, which I would not like to go into, we had the division of Africa into different colonial regions. So this one kind of shows different colonies and mostly what countries colonized them. The countries in pink were colonized by Britain. Those are countries that are currently English-speaking countries in Africa. And after colonization, Nigeria gained its independence in 1960. We had just regions which have transitioned to 36 states right now in Nigeria. So the transition to the post-colonial Nigeria wasn't as smooth. We did had this disparity in regions with, during colonization. And the people in the South were considered to be more educated. and people in the north not that very educated. So there was this close working with people in the north because people felt they were easier to control and deal with. So after colonization, power was handed to people in the northern region. And post-colonization, there was this squabble for power. People in the south felt we are more educated, we have the capacity to rule more than you can, we should have the power. So another factor here is natural resources. Nigeria is one of the top, is among the top 15 countries globally that produces oil and gas. And it is a very, very huge percent of Nigerians' GDP. And most of this oil is produced in the southern part of Nigeria. And the funny thing is, power is in the north, so most people in the north controls this production. And there's always this squabble, like, it's not fair, we produce this oil and then you're in charge of it. And we need the same power and access to the resources from oil production. So we also have issues with oil production since we didn't have the technology to harness these resources after they were discovered in Nigeria. We had to employ some multinational oil producing companies that in a way do not adhere to the environmental laws we have in Nigeria. So there's a huge impact of oil production in the southern part of Nigeria. This has led to a lot of issues and violence in the region because you have this production in the south, there's a lot of pollution there, agriculture, fishing is no longer conducive, and yet the people in this region do not get the proceeds of the revenue generated from oil production. So in the north, we have terrorism and violence. If some of you have known about Boko Haram, is a very popular terrorist group which operates in the northern part of Nigeria. And its uprising is rooted in religion, where they're kind of protesting westernization of the Islamic part of Nigeria. And even if the origin is more religious, there's speculation that right now it's more political than it is religious. So this also, one of the factors we have these disparities between the northern part of Nigeria and the southern part of Nigeria. And there's also difference in culture. We've had some policies that have been very, very, very difficult to pass into law because of these disparities in culture between the northern part of Nigeria and the southern part of Nigeria. Since the north is predominantly Muslim, polygamy is allowed in Islam, while it's not in Christianity. So we have issues with deciding what's the legal age for marriage, things like that, if polygamy should stay or not. So an example is this tweet here where you have a 70-year-old groom getting married to a 15-year-old bride. So currently we do not have any official age of marriage in Nigeria because of that. So besides these different factors we don't agree on, we also have the diversity of languages. Nigeria has more than 250 ethnic groups. We speak different languages, we have different customs, different traditions. So it is something that could also create a divide. We do have 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria. We have Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausas. Besides that, there are so many other ethnic groups in Nigeria. The official language in Nigeria is English because we're colonized by the Britons, of course. But we do have a very, very popular language. It's kind of like a mix of English and local languages and some local slangs. So it's Pidgin English. So basically, even if English language is the official language, it's mostly spoken by educated Nigerians. On the streets, most people speak Pidgin English, which might be a little bit difficult for non-Pidgin English speakers to understand. An example here I gave in this image is when a Nigerian says, like, what are you guys eating? In Pidgin English, we say, waiting at the chop. Or if you want to say, how are you or hi, we just say, how you day. So kind of very similar to what we see in Creole languages, I would say. So we had what we call the Biafran War. It's a civil war that happened in the 60s, right after our independence, where there was squabble for power. This, since we couldn't get this power in the south, the southern part of Nigeria decided to separate, forming a new country called Biafra. That's why it's called the Biafran War. This led to a war because people from the northern part of Nigeria were like, no, you guys cannot separate because most of the resources we have in this country is from the south. And then this led to a civil war that lasted for 3 years. And southern Nigeria or Biafra had to secede because they had less resources. And till today, Nigeria is still one country, but they're still pushing for Biafra as a country. So we still have what we call the neo-Biafrans in Nigeria. So despite the disparities we have in Nigeria, we do have a lot of things in common. First of all, we have so many cool places in Nigeria. There's a lot of culture and rich histories you could see in the landscape. We do have a beautiful beach because the southern part of Nigeria shares a boundary with the Atlantic Ocean. And we have some beautiful cities also, both in the northern and southern part of Nigeria. And then we have this very, very rich culture, there's music, there's dance, there's festivals, a lot of festivals. I just put some examples here. Basically, every ethnicity has 1 or 2 festivals to celebrate every year. This is an example from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. It's called the Iwakwa, where it's kind of like an initiation into manhood, where a guy turns between, when a guy is between 18 and 25, he has to celebrate his transition into being a man. And it comes with certain privileges after this initiation. We also have some cultures that celebrate agriculture. This is a fishing festival. It marks the beginning of the fishing season. And then we have some festivals that just based on tourism, where the goal is to invite people to come and see how rich the culture is in Nigeria. And then our weddings are similar. We have similar weddings where there's this traditional weddings where you have 2 families coming together to celebrate. And one thing that's also common in our tradition in regards to weddings is dowry. I know some of you have heard about dowry payment, where people are getting married, someone has to pay for the other person in this agreement. In places like India, the woman pays the bride the dowry. Well, in Nigeria, it's called the bride price because the groom pays the dowry. So it could be in form of money, it could be in form of food, Could be in form of alcoholic drinks. It just depends on the culture and whatever the other family wants. So our weddings are very, very, very colorful. You should try to attend one of them. I know a couple of them, a couple of people get married, Nigerians get married in the US. And then we have the same food, really, really yummy food. I put a YouTube link here to where you could see some Americans trying out Nigerian food. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where you could see what Nigerian food looks like and people describing how they taste. So yeah, if you do have any questions regarding this class, this lecture, and Nigeria as a whole, I put my email here. You can always email me. You can contact me also through Dr. Rameka. I'll be willing to answer any questions you have. Thank you.